In this video, we are going to paint some pumpkins. I've already got one drawn here. I'm going to show you how I did this. But we're going to use some colors that are going to help you to just make it a better painting. So to begin with, when you're wanting to paint something like maybe a cream pumpkin and you're wanting a dark and moody look to your background, you might be tempted just to grab black paint for your background. But I'm going to show you that color temperature is going to help you to get a better look than what you would get if you were just, choosing just black and white. So this right here is Payne's Gray. And Payne's Gray it's like a navy blue. And when I mix a little bit of white with it, you can see that it's got a very cool blue tint to it. So if we do our background with a cool Payne's Gray, and then we pair that with a cream pumpkin that's going to have some warmth, I'm going to show you how well that translates on your painting. So we're going to do a few different things in different color schemes, starting with this one here. And I've left this little shadowy area down here that I'm going to make this the darkest spot. And then make it lighter. I'm mixing a little bit of white, of course, in with my Payne's Gray. I'm just doing this really quickly just to get that paint all around the edge. And my brush strokes I'm doing pretty haphazardly. That gives me a little more texture and gives it that painterly look. You mix a little bit of white in there with it too. It helps it to keep the background from just being one flat, boring blob. Okay. We need a little bit more. Alright, so now we've got this cool temperatured background. And if you can see, this is white already. If we were to just paint a white pumpkin there that's just very flat, it's not going to do very much for our painting. But if we do something in a warm, temperatured, creamy color, it's going to really stand out. So I'm going to start with some burnt sienna. And I'm going to use a little bit of this. It's called parchment, and it's really, it could also be like titanium buff, or it's just an unbleached white, titanium white. Okay, and I'm going to mix those together. So this is giving me like a terracotta look. I'm also going to put in some Indian yellow and some burnt umber. So I'm just going to start with this, and then we'll come back in with even more earthy colors. Alright, so that's yellow ochre. Let me grab the Indian yellow. I'm just going to start putting that in. So this lesson is more about color than technique. I'm going to show you how I drew the pumpkin when we do our next one, but I want you to really pay attention to what's happening with the colors here, because we've got this really dark, moody background that is very cool, and it gets pushed back by these warm earth tones that we're putting on this pumpkin. And I'm just getting more and more color on here. So can you see how it's really coming forward the more we work with it? I want to make these areas here where it would be like a recessed area in the pumpkin, and make that darker. Let's go ahead and do on the stem. So let's say we want this to be more of a creamy colored pumpkin, not necessarily orange like it is right now. We've got all these beautiful earthy tones there right now, and what we can do is just really load up the lights. So I've got some of this creamy color, and I'm going to mix it with white. And then I'm going to put this on the areas that I want to really stand out. And let those darker earthy tones just kind of blend in there. And make those areas where there would be a little shadow. let's go back and do a little bit of some work in there. And I'm going to get some burnt umber, which is dark brown. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I'm going to add that to my stem. And a little bit of white in there. Okay, now I'm going to take my palette knife and some white, mix it around with a little bit of that cream color that I had. And my paper is not the best thing to use for using a palette knife, but we're going to do this. We're going to really highlight just this top part here mostly. Okay, so here's the result of using our Payne's Gray background, our creamy pumpkin using earth tones warm color.